Hey everybody, my name is Waldog. I'm kind of a complete idiot. It's Friday night. There's some music playing. My neighbors upstairs have decided that it's a good time to throw a party or something like that. I don't know, but I'm tired. I'm pretty crazy, and I'm like super. I'm using a lot of I'm using a lot of vampire energy to block things out. But I'm still like just to like give me some time, to try to decompress. And I'm a complete idiot because I know how lovesick I am right now, and I know I've created this new challenge for myself. It has become a part of my new routine. It's called waking up extremely lovesick. So I get out of bed. So like this morning was a fluke or whatever the phrase is. Woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning. And then I went back to bed. And then I woke up again. The first time the video, whatever, I was like all pissed off. I was feeling all this energy inside of me. I was mad. And then, but the second time I woke up, I had like 40 minutes to get ready and go to work on my scooter. The second time I woke up, I was so lovesick to the point where my body was groggy and I felt dizzy. It was difficult to walk. Like that is my new routine. Because here's the thing: I went from living under a rock, so to speak, and pushing people away, to inviting people in and building relationships, and more and more and more and more. So I learn about love sickness, but I'm a complete idiot. I forget, but now it's become so routine. I'm working more that it is. I am prepared. I know I'm gonna wake up tomorrow morning, unless it's some unless it's some kind of weird spiritual thing like waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning feeling like a superhero. But I know I'm gonna wake up tomorrow morning and I'm gonna be so messed up. I'm gonna have a headache. I'll I'll, I'll be just laying in bed for about 10 minutes just to get enough courage to stand up. And then I'll be all crazy. And I'm gonna say, okay, well, it's time to get on my scooter and go. And then I'm gonna go to work. That is something that I've come to accept. Like, how do you prepare for that? How do I prepare for that? I don't. Nothing I can do. Um, it's just to accept it, and I'm like, I am gonna feel like shit in the morning, but today was a good day. Trying to be Mr. Popular, trying to be a superhero, jokingly. Trying to get better, more used to this new way of life. with these changes in my life, recently. Yeah, I'm like using a lot of vampire energy. Just it's no problem. I got plenty of it. I feel like, but it takes a lot of courage to get out of bed in the morning. Because here's the thing: people get upset when you ignore them. If a person likes you, if a person's trying to talk to you, if a person's trying to get attention, and it's like a couple days, maybe it's a week, it's not fair to that person. And it's like I know that, right? So I'm like trying to talk and trying to, do all this stuff, and it's like, and like here's the thing. Here is where being supernatural, superhuman, is so amazing because I'm able to adapt. Because you can't communicate to everybody in the same way, right? Like everybody, it don't matter. There's so many different things, and then there's a unique personality, right? It's like all the things that the person identifies with, and then their unique personality, and then what time of day it is, how they're feeling, how I'm feeling, which is usually shit and pissy. So take all that into consideration and how pissy and passive aggressive I can get, and connect with that person and build relationships. It's and not only that, like why who cares? Who cares about building relationships with people? Well, here's the thing, I'm famous, and I'm getting more and more experience with the power of fame, how it affects people. Like certain things you would not expect would affect a person will immensely affect a person, and it's communication allows for better situational awareness, and I'm part of a team. I'm also part of a family, and I've got my feelings. I don't want to talk about being in love, but I'm gonna talk about it. Like clearly, I love a lot of people, and I say that with experience and knowledge about what it means to be in love. When there's a person and you can test it, you can test a person's. You can check. It's like when you hear the expression, you check someone. Well, people check me a lot, and I'm a very humble person. I got this chip on my shoulder, but I still have all these abilities and whatever. But when I get checked, I don't want to be fake. I can't be fake. I don't want to be fake. There's a time and place for saying what is not on my mind, or to push all that out so that I can be correct and so I can be supportive. That's different. It's not being fake. Being fake is being misleading. And it being misleading, to me, there's no point. It's like if you mislead somebody and they're in love with you because you misled them, it's more work than just doing it the right way. If you're doing it the right way, then you don't have to worry about being checked. 'Cause, a guy or a friend or somebody will say, well, no, actually, that person over there is a, you know, and it's like, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for fake relationships. I know people who do that. And I don't have enough time. And I think it's wrong. I know it's wrong. I don't do that. So anyways, when people check me and my response is uh, honest, if I'm being honest, and my response is, yes, I do truly care about that person. I love that person. May love them in different ways. Maybe not romantically. When I say I've fallen in love, it's different. You know, and like to me, I'll just be honest. Like I don't really have anything to hide in this regards when it comes to falling in love. Because I know that if I fall in love, I can fall out of love. I know how, and I know how much it hurts, and that there's all the phases of uh, you know that my body has to go through to overcome that. I want to say that tragedy, that defeat. I know that. I know how to do. I know that process. It's not good. It's not a good process. Nobody wants to do that, and I don't think a lot of people know how to do that properly. That's why people. Anyways, so I don't really need to hide the fact that and I don't feel like it's a weird thing to say that. It's like I obviously like to. Uh, I'm getting used to this change in myself, and I think it's a positive change. I think this is great. But as far as loss, I know that loss is a when taking that in consideration, I know it's just a part of life. I'm not holding on too tightly. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm experienced. I'm an adult, and I can handle a lot of emotional pain. I'm supernatural too, and I turn to a vampire. I'd go numb if I have to, um, but no, one of the things I've realized is that I have a lot more, like life is a lot more interesting, and I've got a lot of, I'm a lot more passive aggressive. I got a lot more energy, a lot more passive aggressiveness that I'm learning to control better. Uh, Learning new methods of control for when how to use that energy properly, and not just in a magical sense, not just in a vampire or alpha sense. None of that. I'm talking about just, is my mind in the right place? And as a note to myself, because I'm probably rewatch this video or whatever. That who's to say that where is the separation between mindfulness? It's just mindfulness, and you know when it comes to dealing with responses and reacting and passive aggressiveness and how to handle that. Mindfulness and awareness is the answer. But where's the separation between that and the spiritual nature of myself? Like, to make the statement to say, oh, it's not that, it's not that. It's like, I think that's incorrect. But the way that I see it and that I want to understand it is that no, I'm doing this mindfulness, and it is maybe affected. It is affected. Like, I'm trying to reject the truth, and to be honest, I'm trying to put on my big boy pants and say I'm able to handle my emotions without supernatural abilities. But clearly, it's all connected. That's what I'm trying to say when it comes to me. But for learning's sake, for practice sake, for getting better acquainted with for mindfulness, and I'm trying to not think about that stuff. So why does it, like, just talking? Just talking. It's like, why does it matter? Why don't I just freaking turn into a vampire and use alpha energy and blah 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 blah? That shit works. Just keep it simple. It's like no, it's not the answer. The answer is to have more, not more control. Control is good. Control of myself, but to have more tools in my toolbox and to do things correctly and to grow and mature as an adult and to be able to handle situations. And there are situations when I'm feeling, my vampire energy is very low or my alpha energy is very low, and it's difficult. There are times, difficult times. I could name a few experiences. So I'm just trying to be a realist. But now, I've fallen in love. And being apart, like away from that individual. Uh, I haven't talked about this yet. Being apart from that person. I want to be careful on how I say this. I like that music upstairs is starting to bother me. But no, it has a spiritual effect on me and my abilities. I'm more powerful, but I feel like I'm more powerful spiritually. But there is a passive aggressiveness that has increased, or maybe I've become more aware of it, or maybe I'm just more grumpy, you know. And the way that I do things is, if something changes, I want to adjust. I want to develop so that I can, go about my life. But I'm still, it's like a constant um, power. I don't want to overcomplicate things, but it's like having, I've got the vampire in me now. I've got this other factor. It almost feels like I've got this other person. Uh, you know, and so it's like, and this is me just talking, but I'm like, it's not fair, But it's like I'm so past that. I just want to say that, but I'm so past. It's not fair to me. I want alone time or whatever, but I have completely. I want to say accepted, but I've just given up. Uh, I think it's a better way of saying it. The phrase "give it over to God." But I have done that several times. And this is one of those things. And I've got supernatural abilities. I'm going to use them to maintain myself and do the right thing. And it's like complaining doesn't do any good. except to let it out, speak, you know. So, I mean, I've got many, many, many people that I care about. And can I fall out of love with this individual I'm talking not about, but around, so to speak, and fall, you know, deeply in love with another person? Yes, I know I can. Can I fall in love with with different people, with more than one person, like in the way that I'm describing? I don't know. There's a deep frustration with coming to understand myself and supernatural abilities and spirituality in general. But you know that deep frustration is a maybe part of my passive aggressive or my, you know, it's affecting me. Maybe I need to pinpoint the specific issue. The issue's not with that person. The issue's not with how I feel. The issue's with, you know, this thing, the problems I have within myself, and you know, um, I think that is the right thing. You know, I've heard before. You know, uh, I've said this several times in the past. You know, you can only I. You know, I'm not the first. I didn't come up with this, but you know, you can only control uh, yourself. You know, don't go around trying to control other things. You know, try not to. And you know, if I'm the one, I think it's correct to say that I'm the one with the problem. I'm gonna try to do my best to uh, make myself healthy, and I think that's the adult thing to do. And yeah, I'm still growing and developing. It's funny. Do I think about that one individual that I'm describing or falling in love with? Do I think about that person? Like, no, not at all. I've got a pretty firm mental block, but I do occasionally. You know, but I've learned that if you know that's not good. It's not healthy for me at all to do that, uh, so that I can not just live my life, but to in a healthy manner and do what I want to do as a person who wants to help others and help myself. But specifically because I have experience with being in bad relationships and knowing, you know, that. So, and you know, I have a lot of experience with people and knowledge and about different. And talk to a lot of people in long-term relationships and stuff like that. So you know, I'm an alpha male for goodness sake. You know, I have my own inner compass, wisdom, and then you know my vampire side. So. Anyways, it's the same thing. You know, I'm super duper overwhelmed, but I'm blocking it out, being mature, trying to, and that is the effect. You know, it's not all smiles and sunshine, but you know, there's a lot of smiles and sunshine. So My life's going really good. But I feel I I feel specifically unhappy that I'm not being I'm not expressing everything that I could be. Like, I think that's a sign of maturity. I think that's a good thing. It's like I'm not supposed to, right? Like, but I'm upset because I'm aware of the delusions, the blocking, the spiritual, all of that, and blocking things out. And I'm just like, why can't I just? But I'm aware that I'll just get super unhealthy, and that specifically makes me unhappy. But if that's the only thing that's making me unhappy, then I'm doing pretty good. So there must be something wrong with me. It's one of my catchphrases now. I have the ability to. It's a vampire ability. I believe, yeah, it's a vampire ability. To you know place certain. I don't know how to say this, but it's like I've got a chip on my shoulder, right? And that chip on my shoulder that I've configured my thinking, and which I keep in place on purpose. That there's something wrong with me, but there's nothing wrong with me. I know that chip on my shoulder is what makes me a really good person. I think. And other people think too. So most people, whether they identify it or not, keeps me humble. So, anyways, appreciate y'all for watching. I'm gonna go rest and take some deep breaths and get ready for tomorrow and the next week to come. So, all right, y'all. Have a good night.